as you can see, one of the heads is on my engine. However, it's not torqued down. I was waiting for some washers. I've got that to do today. I've also got the other head to put on. Before I do that, this is the wiring loom for the car. These wires here are for the starter motor, which is at the back by the bulkhead on this side. So I don't quite know why it's this long, possibly because originally the car had a V6, and I believe the V6 starter motors were down this side. But this is unnecessary, so first thing I'm going to do, while I've still got access to the starter motor, is to pull the wiring out from that end by the bulkhead, run it in some more conduit and possibly something kind of heat reflective, actually I've got some reflective tape, so possibly wrap it in that as well, just so that it doesn't get too melty, and wire up the starter motor. Right, I've got you hanging from the bonnet, so apologies for any excess movement, but I'm ready to torque the head bolts down. Now, you can see down here, you can see that what I've actually done with my wiring loom is wrap it in heat reflective tape. The reason for that is that what I didn't think about was the fact that the wiring actually goes to the alternator first and then to the starter motor. Alternator, starter motor. So yes, I've had to wrap that, but I'm not too bothered by that. I'm happy with that. So getting on to torquing the cylinder head, I've put the bolts in loosely for now. So I'm going to go around and just nip them up. Literally get them hand tight. I've then set the torque wrench to 95 foot-pounds. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to sort of work in a circle effect. It's not quite so important on cast iron heads, but it's good practice, especially if you're working with alley heads or alley blocks. Just pulls everything down straight rather than potentially not pulling it down straight. So enough jibber jabber, I'm going to get on and torque this head down. Right, that's one head torqued down, and yeah, it wasn't quite as bad as I thought. It's a bit awkward to get into some of the bolts. You've got the heater box in the way of those two there. This stud is in the way, so I've had to use two sockets and extension and mix around. I know there's going to be something else down here that I need the head off to get to. No idea what it is yet, because that tends to be how my life works. So I'm going to get this head on. Be quite nice to see both heads on this, and actually make it not look like it's too small of an engine for such a vast car. Both heads are on and torqued down. I had a bit of an issue with one of the head bolts. Threads were a bit damaged, but I've managed to clean that up. They're all torqued down, like I said earlier, 95 foot-pounds. So the next thing I need to do is push rods and the little hydraulic lifters. So I'm going to give these a bit of a wipe down before I put them in. If you haven't got one of these, by the way, never used one before, they're brilliant. So everything I've taken off the head is all back in order. This is the front, this is the rear. So yeah, these lifters, so they need a bit of a wipe, they've got a bit of dirt on them. Oil filled, so they're pressurised by the oil. You can see with a torch. There we go. So there's a little hole in the middle of the little cup they sit in, which pressurizes, fills them with oil through there, and that's pretty much it. They go in that way. Push rod sits on that little dome there, and then the opposite end of the push rod comes up onto the rocker arm at the top. So very simple design, and yeah, just a case of slotting them straight in. There we go, all our little lifters are in. That's that part all sorted. So only other thing I've got left on this end is to put in my push rods. Now I was going to replace the push rods. I decided not to because they're all straight. The only thing that concerned me slightly was they got some corrosion on them. You can see that in the camera. a bit of pitting. It's not too bad, and I can't see how it would make any difference at all, but yeah, I ended up not doing it purely to save money. So these little carrier plates here that sit below the rocker cover, they are to hold these in place, so they go through there and sit on top of the push rod like that. And again, these are all the same length, so it makes no difference which ones go where. But yeah, they all sit down there like that. This is really starting to come together now, very, very quickly. And I cannot wait to start her up. There we go, so that's one side in. Once the other side are in, I can then actually put the cover on top of here, a valley cover, which is over here, and I haven't painted yet. Haven't decided whether to go green or black with that. I will probably go green. So yeah, that's it pretty much for this video. As you can see, I've now got a almost assembled engine. Basics of the engine. But thank you for watching. If you want this t-shirt, by the way, it is for sale online. I'll put a link in the description below, and it comes in different colours as well, and it will really help me out if for anyone who decides to purchase one. It does help the channel, gives me money to spend on things like engine parts. So thanks for watching.